Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Ziskia Silvi with student ID number 23291082. I am a 6th semester student in the English Education Study program at the University of Mandalika. Seriously, I am participating in the School File Introducing Program PLP and have been excited to SMKN 1 Lingsar for my teaching practice. In this video, I would like to explain my teaching practice conducted in the classroom. The teaching season took place in class 10 Teknik Komputer Jaringan 1, where I taught English with the topic recount text. First of all, I began the lesson by entering the classroom, greeting the students and creating a positive learning atmosphere. After greeting the students, I invite them to pray together before starting the lesson. Then, I check the students' attendance to ensure that everyone was ready to participate in the learning activities. After that, I asked the student a few simple questions about their daily experience as an introductory activity. This warm-up activity was intended to activate their prior knowledge and connect it to the lesson topic. Next, I explained the learning objectives. I informed the student that by the end of the lesson, they will be able to understand the definition and purpose of recount text, identify its generic structure, language features, and answer questions based on a recount text. After introducing the learning objectives, I start explain the material. I told the students that a recount text is type of text used to retell past experience or events in chronological order. I also explained that recount text usually use the simple past tense because they describe events that happened in the past. Then, I explained the purpose of recount text, which is to inform or entertain readers by sharing past experience. To help students understand the concept better, I gave several examples of personal experience, such as holiday trips, school activities, and memorable moments with family or friends. Structure of recount text. I explained that it consists of 3 main or parts. The first, orientation, which introduces the participant, time, and place. Number 2, events, which describe the sequence of events in chronological order. And number 3, reorientation, which concludes the story and may include the writer's personal comments or feelings. To strengthen the student understanding, I present an example of a recount text. Together, we read the text aloud and then I guide the student in identifying the orientation, events, and reorientation within the text. This activity helps them apply the theory to an authentic example. After discussing the text structure, I explain the language features commonly found in a recount text. I emphasize the use of the simple past tense, action verbs, time expression such as yesterday, last week, last month, and last year, as well as sequencing words like first, then, after that, and finally. Before continuing to the next part of the lesson, I conduct a short ice-breaking activity to help the students stay focused and make the classroom atmosphere more enjoyable. I explained that we were going to play a simple game that required them to listen carefully to my instruction. I told the student, when I say single clap, you should clap your hands only once. However, when I say silence, you should not clap at all. The students participate enthusiastically and enjoyed the activity. After the ice breaking, I asked them to return to their seats, and then I continued with the next part of the lesson. Once the explanation was complete, I encouraged the student to ask questions if there was anything they did not understand. I answered their question and provide additional explanations using a simpler example to ensure that all students could follow the lesson. After the discussion session, I gave the student an exercise related to the material. They were asked to read another recount text, identify its generic structure, recognize its language features, and answer several comparison questions. While the students were working on the tasks, I walked around the classroom to monitor their progress and provide assistance whenever necessary. When the students had finished their work, we discussed the answer together. I invite several students to share their responses and we review each answer as a class. This activity allows students to reflect on their understanding and correct any mistakes. At the end of the lesson, I asked the student to summarize what they had learned. Together, we review the definition, purpose, generic structure, and language features of recount text to reinforce the key concept. Before closing the lesson, I motivate the student to keep practicing their English skill, especially reading and writing, because regular practice will help them improve their language proficiency and build their confidence. Finally, I thank the students for their active participation and preparation throughout the lesson. That is the overview of my teaching practice conducted in class 10 Teknik Komputer Jaringan 1 at SMKN 1 Lingsar. I hope this teaching practice reflects my ability to plan and implement an effective English lesson while creating an engaging learning environment for the students. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.